Welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making for you today is everybody's favorite, chocolate chip cookies. And I'm also going to show you how to turn this delicious treat into a cookie pizza. And like I said, everyone's favorite. I'm also going to show you how to turn it into a gift by putting all of the ingredients into a mason jar. All of that's coming up on Bonita's Kitchen, so let's get started making our chocolate chip cookies. But what we will start to do first is cream up our butter and sugar. Let's get started. We're going to put in first a half a cup of room temperature butter, and then we're going to add a half a cup of brown sugar and a quarter of a cup of white sugar. And we're going to cream this together first. And what I'm going to also add is 1 teaspoonful of vanilla. Now these cookies are inspired today for me by my husband, because this is his favorite treat, and also my boys when they were younger. I couldn't keep chocolate chip cookies in the house, so today I'm going to show you how to make these simple and they're nice and chewy. Okay, so that's all we need with that. So what I'm going to be doing next is putting a cup and a half of flour. You could use wheat flour, or whatever type is good for you. The same thing even goes for the sugar. If you don't want any white sugar and you want all brown sugar, you can do that as well. A half a teaspoonful of baking soda. So let's make sure you use that. And now we're going to sift this all together. So that's a cup and a half of flour and a half a teaspoonful of baking soda. So you just sift it all down onto your wet ingredients. So I'm just going to lightly just move this around, and I'm going to add in 1 egg. So I guess really it's not really concerning how you put it together, just as long as it's all incorporated together pretty much the same time. Butter and sugar is one thing you should, cream up first, but the milk and the egg you could kind of put in together. So we're going to mix this around. So pretty much after you've mixed in the milk and the egg, your dough is going to have this texture. Now I'm going to be putting in a cup to a cup and a half of chocolate chips, but at this point of your dough, you could basically use this for any cookie. You could use it with putting nuts into it. You can eliminate everything altogether and have it just like this. Or you can even put raisins into it if you don't like chocolate chips or nuts. But today we're making chocolate chip cookies, remember? So I'm going to be putting in about a cup to a cup and a half of chocolate chips. And now I'm going to fold it into the dough. Okay, so you're just going to fold these chocolate chips into your dough or your batter. Now at this point, that is all we're going to do with this. We're going to now get a couple of cookie sheets, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. This is also a fun recipe for you to make with your kids or your grandkids, because it's so simple and easy, and they'll have fun eating the dough and the chocolate, even though we all say you can't eat raw dough, but you know. I'm going to show you as well what I was saying about making a gift out of your chocolate chips cookies by putting it into a mason jar. What you can do, and I'm sure most of you have done this before, put the recipe on the front, and the only thing that's missing on the recipe in the front is the egg, butter, and the milk, and the vanilla, of course. That they can do themselves, but just I like the ingredients that they would need to have. But in here it just shows you the flour, the sugar, and it works its way up to the chocolate chips, and I even got a few Smarties in there. and this side gives you when it was put in the jar. Now this can stay there for some time at room temperature. It probably won't go bad for a long time, but in reason you don't need to keep it stored for a long time. But this is what you can do as a gift. I'll show you now the size of the cookies we're going to make and our chocolate chip pizza cookie. So pretty much you make it the size you want for your cookie, but when you're putting it into the pan, make sure, or on your cookie sheet, make sure all of them is about the same size, because then they'll have equal cooking time. This batch would make 32 cookies, or chocolate chip cookies, but if you're going to make the pizza one, it'll make maybe, I'd say about maybe 25 or 26 cookies, and then the pizza dough. So keep going like that. I need to leave that one for the pizza, so but I just want to show you the size. So keep going like that for the size of your cookies. So now you're going to take up a nice big dollop. Now you could use a pizza pan, but I'm just using a cookie sheet because we can round it out into this. It's not going to go the full of the cookie of a pizza pan, but just big enough where it could be a serving for a few people to enjoy. So you're just going to put this out onto your pan with parchment paper, of course, because I find that it don't stick. You don't need to grease it. It'll come off nice. So just round this out like this to make a nice circle. So that's big enough for your pizza cookie. You can have it, like I said, bigger if you want it, but we'll stay with that now just to give you the idea of what it's like. So we're going to be baking these delicious cookies in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your oven. You don't want it any longer than that because you want these to come out a nice light color, and then there'll be a golden brown on the bottom and a nice and chewy. So I'm going to show you what they look like when they come out. So welcome back to Bonita's kitchen. Our cookies are baked, they're cooled down enough, and it smells delicious in here. This is what they look like. It smells absolutely amazing in here, and all we need now is a nice glass of cold milk and get dipping. So as you can see, these little cookies, they're soft. They don't even, there's no crunch to them, so don't expect crunch. If you want crunch, you'll go a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the pizza into pizza slices, and then I'm going to show you how to decorate it to make it into a pizza cookie. Okay, so you just pretty well cut it into 4 pieces like this, unless you got a bigger pizza and you want, I mean, that's a perfect slice. So what we're going to do now is put some whipped cream over the top. You could use whipped cream that is blended with a little bit of icing sugar and vanilla, or you can just use full whipped cream, cream cheese, icing sugar is another one you could use. And what we're going to do, we're going to top this with some blueberries. So we're going to add some fruit to this one. This is kind of our healthy choice here now, having the berries and the fruit. And when I say fruit, I'm going to put a few pieces of orange on there. And you could also just do rounded oranges around. You could use kiwi, or you could use Smarties. Of course, more chocolate chips if you want it. And then you take it off and you got your pizza slice. But it's also a pizza chocolate chip cookie. And of course you can see your kids or your grandkids loving to do this. So what we're going to do next is one more tip I'm going to give you to make these chocolate chip cookies even more delicious. Some melted chocolate chips, and I only did that in the microwave for about a minute or two, and just coat it with a little bit of chocolate on one side. And then if you want to make it fancy, just put a couple of those little Smarties on there. So just dip one side so you got the other side to have to all. And this is what it looks like. Absolutely delicious and fun. Great party ideas. So I hope you found my recipe for chocolate chip cookies helpful for you today, and all of the designs that you can do with just ordinary chocolate chip cookie. You could make it as your party favor. So thank you for joining me today for Bonita's Kitchen, this episode of chocolate chip cookies. If you haven't subscribed already to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Up at the top right hand corner, hit the link. It'll prompt you to what you need to do. You can also visit us on my website, bonitaskitchen.com, and on our Facebook page. So thank you for joining me once again for Bonita's Kitchen. From my kitchen to yours, you have a wonderful day.